So let's talk about the article you've referenced in The Guardian.
Mm.
Here are some quotes, and I love your reaction to them. I don't believe that I aired my dirty laundry in public. First reaction to that. Hogwash?
Um, Hogwash.
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, I want to swear, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be
That's a
the I'll
load.
be the
That's
naughty girl. I'll wait till you get to New York and tell you
well, that
naughty
yeah, well,
enough.
that's it's not. How does he even think that that is right?
Yeah.
Of course, he aired everything. I mean, even to discussing his private parts. I'm sorry. He is he just so stupid at times, and that is confirmation. When you've written Spare, you've done a documentary. That whole thing was popping at your family. His truth, my truth. There are always two sides to every coin.
Yeah.
It's not his. You're not the only one here. The versions and blaming the British press. Sorry, no, we can probably pick holes. We could do a program and just go, that's not true, that's not true. Why did the Queen say recollections may vary? We know that their version of events is sometimes is so divorced from the reality of what actually happened in the moment.
I love that idea, or I love that saying, divorce from reality. Okay, so Harry says it was a difficult message, but I did it in the best possible way. My conscience is clear. I felt like there were a million other ways to do whatever it is he thinks he's done, but I don't think he did it in the best possible way. And don't forget, he specifically told Oprah, as if trying to justify this, he specifically told Oprah that the only reason that he took a deal with Netflix and with Penguin Random House and with Spotify, he says like, "Oh, I did these big deals because I needed to pay, I needed to make money for my family." Like I don't think that he did them in the best possible way. I think he did it. I think what he did was he took the easy route. He took the easy route and did not really process what the consequences would be. He says that there's no like he's not a vengeful person, but watch the Oprah Winfrey interview. Meghan more so than Harry. Those are two very angry people.
Oh, he's been angry since the moment he left. And now he's trying to make it sound, well, actually, I didn't mean to. What I said was the truth. It's almost as like he's trying to forget what he was saying at the time, and he's actually saying, almost forgetting he did it. You
Mhm.
get the sense. But we know that it was spiteful. It was designed for commercial reasons. So he's got to be tell you as he sees it, warts and all. And the documentary, on the getting texts from his family, and then saying, "Oh, look at that." I mean, it's just absolute codswallop from him again.
Mm.
I'm trying to use every strong word without using a a English swear word. So I've given you
Fudge.
codswallop now. I've
I think
given you
I think he's
codswallop
full of
now.
fudge. I think he's full of fudge. Harry
Yeah.
insists that speaking out wasn't a matter of stubbornness, saying it is having principles. It is not about revenge. It is about accountability. You cannot have reconciliation before you have truth. Well, I constantly say I'm trying to hold these two accountable, and with Harry, when it comes to Harry and Meghan, I'm trying to hold them accountable because I think he's a liar.
Well, we know recollections may vary, and he says things that leaves everyone within the royal family scratching their heads because they know the reality of the situation. And you know the reality on the ground in California. They are a couple that create problems, and they have created the problems. Up until he met Meghan, he was fine. Meghan comes in the season in a picture, charging in like a bull in a china shop into his life. Fine. He is then in headlights, absolutely struck with lust and love, maybe, I don't know. Away he goes. And then you think,
You
oh my,
you actually do know it was lust because he writes about it in Spare.
yeah.
Remember how he
Well,
talks
but
about like
yeah,
her
okay, but
opening the hotel room door and like, woo, okay.
well, okay, too much information. We do not need to know. So therefore, but but when people couples get together, that's quite often what the way it kicks off. And then you've got to work out whether you actually can then live each other once that bit's gone through. This is family advice here from Rupert Bell. But anyway, back to Harry. I'm afraid again, his version of events do not compare with what he's been saying recently. And that statement, it is so, it leaves me going, what, why, how does he not, why hasn't that person who's written the article not gone, well, hang on, you did say, what's the version of the the wedding
Hmm.
when you suddenly said you were married 2 days before?
Yeah.
Have you always told the truth? I mean, that is one example,
Why
probably, of
didn't you challenge Prince Harry's comment to Tom Bradby when Harry said that they never called a member of the British royal family racist? I mean, we all live in a post Y2K society where that journalist can pull out their cell phone and pull up a clip of
yeah,
Meghan Markle saying they were making a comment about the child's skin color, accusing the royal family of not giving Archie a prince title because of his skin color. I mean, there are so many things that they've lied about in the past. Okay, here's another quote. The book, it was a series of corrections to stories already out there. One point of view had been put out and it needed to be corrected. We didn't like a lot we didn't know you had a fight with Prince William that turned physical and a dog brawl broke and he broke your necklace. You added new details. What is he correcting when he writes in his book that Prince William's no longer the handsome son, that Prince William no longer has his mother's looks and that he's balding? That is a nasty book. That and he's not correcting a narrative by telling us that his brother's balding.
yeah, no, I mean, he's so the whole thing is a vicious attack, particularly at his brother. The jealousy is writ large. Now, it may be, well, I don't know the entire reasons for the breakdown of the relationship, but the words were is that William said from the get-go, like just like his grandmother, this ain't, are you sure?
At the beginning, he said, slow down. You don't have to
Mm,
move so fast. But
yeah,
then he said, we're purging staff because of your wife's behavior.
yeah,
So we know that there was a transition where initially he was like, just pump the brakes. You
yeah.
don't have to jump into a marriage with this woman. We realize she's hooking it towards 40, and already been married, but you don't have to, bulldoze your way through this marriage. But inevitably, the argument really becomes that William believes reports that Meghan is acting ugly to staff. And I bet you would believe it if you literally were working with somebody one day and the next day they quit. And it's not like that in that environment. People usually are there because they love the British royal family and they put up with a lot of junk.
Well, no, it's not. I'm sure it's not. Working within the royal household is would be fraught with difficulties at times. And you are managing people who are used to having everything done, from morning, noon, and night. They never know, they can't suddenly say, right, I'm off to the supermarket without it being a kerfuffle. So it is, but that goes with the territory of being in the royal family. But for Harry and Meghan to even suggest that they are the only ones telling the truth, which is what Harry is trying to confirm in his latest thing, that he is the right and they are wrong. The British press wish them failure and everything. No, we're hearing these things, so we're only reporting what we know in a way, and probably are not telling it 100% because we can't. I'm not allowed to, and that's fine. I understand that. But we know the real story. And it is sad that Harry, suddenly thinks, he probably came back and he thinks, oh, I'm the darling, and probably felt because he's been glad-handed by all these charities, saying, lovely to see you. He actually hasn't sort of stood back and said, right, I'll give it a couple of weeks and just review what going on. No, he's done it straight away. He's
Idiot.
gone straight in and misread it again and sort of think that I will get them to come round to my way of thinking. There's an element of trying to say, well, it's my way or no way, and you need to say sorry. And but he needs to learn to say sorry.